one of the more enduring images of the cigar smoker. We can look all the way back to like Edward G. Robinson, famous for his portrayal of the titular character in the 1931 film Little Caesar, or the original Scarface from 1932, or the updated Scarface from 1983, the Tony Soprano's ever present large cigar on The Sopranos. It's something Jay-Z evoked on the cover of his very first album, 1996's Reasonable Doubt, which traffics in a lot of mafioso subject matter. Like a gangster with a cigar is practically a cliche at this point. And it's such a ubiquitous trope that there are images floating out there on the internet of Marlon Brando as Vito Corleone that feature him smoking a cigar. But Marlon Brando as Vito Corleone never smokes a cigar in The Godfather. The only time that you see Vito with a cigar is in The Godfather Part 2, and that's the younger version played by Robert De Niro. He never actually gets a chance to light it up. There's a car that whizzes by just as he puts it in his mouth. So, what gives here? Why is the gangster with a cigar such a popular image? And look, I could go on and on about a now familiar idea here on the channel that has to do with how the gangster embodies a particular brand of violent masculinity that a lot of men seek to emulate. But I'm going to save that one. Uh, what I will say is the gangster in US American culture is the dark id of the business tycoon. Now, that's not totally separate from the discussion around masculinity, but I digress. The gangsters, real and fake, who capture the broader American imagination are businessmen. They're bootleggers and drug kingpins and heads of illegal gambling rackets. They just operate outside the law. And because they do, violence becomes part of their business negotiating. Like, you can't call the cops the violent arm of the state to address your competition or petty thievery or what have you when the thing you're doing is illegal. But there's a kinship between legitimate and black market moguls because they want the same things: money, power, influence, respect. Uh, those on the legal side have a kind of jealousy of their underworld counterparts. Like what they wouldn't give to be able to like permanently eliminate some of their competitors. Cigars come into play because they're an accessory that does work on multiple levels. It represents leisure, the ultimate status symbol of wealth, the ability to afford to do nothing. Smoking a cigar often happens when you have nothing else to do, and who has more time to do nothing than those who don't have to work constantly for their survival. But they also get at something a little more menacing: smoking with no regard to those around you, using the literal smoke as a means of intimidation. It answers the question of how to outwardly reflect the necessary attitude of the gangster that you don't give a fuck. The gangster is an avatar for everything the American capitalist wishes he could be. Cigar is a prop for his performance.